Hello! Can you believe it? It's me again, the drizzle. There's my tank back there, but it's not as photogenic today. So, just want to welcome everybody and say, what do you know? You're not alone. It's been a heck of a day, but we still want to make sure we bring everybody some great information, fill you in on where we've been and where we're going this week. I kind of briefed a little bit on Thursday if you missed the impromptu episode, but it's I briefly covered what's going to be happening this week, but I kind of like to go over a little bit more and just let everybody in on what's going on with me. But before we get going, as always, epilepsy is a terrible silent disease. Many of us have it. You are not alone. Tell me your story. Tell us all. Enjoy some conversation, some tunes, some optimism. But remember, I am not a doctor, a nurse, a psychiatrist, a therapist. I probably can't take your blood pressure properly. Why? Because I'm not trained to. In order to come speak, just try and have somebody there with you, just in case something happens. I've got my person right here next to me. I'm not a, I'm not alone. It's necessary for me to have somebody. But uh, if you can't have somebody, or you have your epilepsy under control, there's no reason why you can't come on. Just reach out to us, and the email is in the show page. Easy to reach out to me. Um, Go ahead, send me a message. We can get you on anytime. It doesn't have to be a Sunday. If you were lucky enough to catch Thursday's episode with our special guest Zach Beckemeyer, it was a fantastic episode. Zach was a fellow epileptic. With a very similar story to mine, only he had a few of the seizures, or a few of the treatments I was not really into. So it was very, very beneficial to get to talk to him. Hopefully we gave him some confidence going into his surgery, because he went in and had a responsive nerve stimulator placed on Friday. He's already had a brain surgery where they removed 3 millimeters of a part of his brain. So he's had to relearn how to walk, talk, live his life entirely, and do things over. And now he's about to have another brain surgery, or he had another brain surgery. So we're looking forward to catching up with him once we figure out how he's doing, and see if it's giving him the results he was hoping for, because he went a couple of years without seizures after his surgery, and it allowed him to to up make changes in his life. I'm going to make one of them sit out here in a minute. uh, I was worried that I was going to lose my creativity. And so that was my mission. And when I found Zach and a couple of other people, I reached out to a couple of other people. I haven't heard back yet. Hopefully it's not out of the question, because I continue to bug even if they don't answer the first time. I just hope that people will get back to me. And but keep in mind, there is a delay. So if something happens, we'll cut the feed. We don't want to traumatize anybody. We don't. It's already tough enough being epileptic, so we want to make sure if you decide to come on and join us and something happens, we want to make sure that we can, if something happens, somebody sitting there can take care of you. We can shut down the stream, not hurt anybody else. It sucks to watch sometimes. Although I've watched plenty of videos at this point, I'm kind of numb to it now. But I've watched my own videos. I watched my mom last week. That was pretty interesting. If you do try to come on and do anything crazy, don't waste your time or life. There's a delay. It won't happen. So please just have some courtesy. But we want to help as many people as we can. Not a huge viewership at this point, but these episodes are timeless. So if you need to, take the time, go back, look at these episodes, see if any of them help you, see if there's any information that you're not familiar with. Because it's just a lot of pointing in the right directions, and a good base for learning on how to help yourself. So, I'm excited though. This week has been this week this week hasn't started well. Today's Sunday, and unfortunately it didn't start out with the greatest of ease. I woke up this morning to a puddle of my own blood in my bed, and bit side of my tongue off, and took a chomp out of my cheek, and now I'm missing missing some parts of my mouth. Is what I guess is what it comes down to. I need to find something to put under here. Yeah, I don't want this thing to cook on me. Just a mechanical pencil's the thing that's worked the best, so it doesn't roll. Trying to make sure my computer doesn't cook on me. I already have one crash computer, or two of them sitting there, two crash computers sitting right there right now. So we'll try and avoid a third now that I just purchased this one. It seems to work pretty well, though. It's a pretty nice computer so far. Not the fastest processor for some things, but for other things, it's been doing a great job. Hey, I am you. I hope you're doing well. So this week, oh my goodness. This week is going to be my final week with my memory coach. I did 8 weeks and worked on my I'm trying to find it, but I'm also twitching. I think it's right there, that notebook thing. No, not that one. That's the journal. No, that's the directions. Where the heck did it go? I think it's right there. Yeah, so I got a workbook that I worked along with them for the last 7 weeks. This will be my 8th week, and it's been a way to work with my memory, try and help with my focus, try and help with keeping myself on track and finding ways to keep myself calm and delegate ways of getting through different things. And this workbook that I have here, I'm pretty sure they want me to return this. I think this goes back so they can use it in their research.
Really?
I think so. I'm not sure though. I can't remember. I think I get a digital copy of this, and then they keep this one or whatever. And so I'm here's this week's right here, and there's the week 8 one. Let's see, that's the end of it. Once I do that, then it's just the toolbox at the back, which the toolbox has got a lot of great information and stuff like that. Here's the problem solving worksheet there. So this has been really helpful. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be as helpful as it was, only because it allowed me to think of myself in a more focused idea, I guess. I mean, let me see here. This is week 1. So each week it was supposed to go along with like a certain topic. Like week 1 was quick relaxation, and then like week 2 was problem solving therapy, and then week 3 was problem solving worksheet, and then they were all basically problem solving worksheets from there. And then week 8 is the wrap up and maintenance strategies. So it's week 1 I was kind of focused a bit on what it was that I was trying to do. I don't remember what those were though.
Talking about what you're reading,
or so essentially on, I think it was those dates, I started. It says briefly describe the memory or attention problem. So the first, geez almighty. The first one was focal seizures, made me lost for words most of the day. So I kept having focal seizures the first day when I was trying to talk about what was the memory problem I was having. I set it to an 8, and I said I was post-ictal and being grumpy, frustrated, and tense. The second day, I couldn't remember the name of a band that I loved. Thus can't remember the name of the song to search for it, and ended up playing searching for it and ended up playing guitar for 45 minutes, but it wasn't what I was trying to play. Uh, uh, um, I guess it says, what was it? Um, what were the surroundings like? It went from being like one. Sometimes I'd have seizures and I'd be kind of forgetful for a couple hours, and sometimes I'll have seizures and I'll be forgetful for a couple days. And then the third was words to a song that I had already played, and I just couldn't remember things, and I kept getting anxious and nervous. The next day, I had forgot what had happened. I kept forgetting what had happened during the day. I forgot what day it was, that kind of stuff. Uh, and I had been featured on a podcast that day, and I had a seizure on the podcast. Luckily, it was right at the end and didn't really cause any trouble too much, thankfully. Um, it left me very confused. The following day, I was asked, what are all the meds that I take? And I couldn't remember just the names of the medicines I've already taken. Um, but usually when I'm tired, I have trouble remembering things anyway. And then the next day I had forgot some that too. So it was like all right, start to recognize what are the things that I have memory problems with. What are the like types of things? And it said in your they gave me a journal and said just write down the things in the journal that cause the memory issues. What is it that's happening around you? What is it that could be causing the pull from your focus? Uh, and then we were to go into the next week was what is the problem solving therapy, which is a self-management technique focused on current real-life problems that affect you. Uh, it says my memory coach will explain the details of the treatment and provides encouragement and support, but the ideas, solutions, and actions have to come from you. So my first time, I had trouble finding synonyms for words I'm using frequently, and the goal was to be able to use specific words I wanted. And in these things, it has a possible solutions, advantages, and disadvantages, and it wants you to write down 4 every week. And so my possible solution was simplify, stay calm, keep conversation short, and one topic per time. One topic at a time. Jeez. So simplifying things didn't leave me with too many thoughts in my mind to distract me and confuse me. Um, Sometimes I'd leave out details though. Staying calm, I don't get worked up, and I don't let my emotions control how I react. The disadvantages is my emotions sometimes are what carry me through life. They're what help me achieve things. Is my emotion is what provides the strength and whatnot to get to these points. Um, so it was the steps to achieve the solution. They decide what are the steps that would help me reach that goal. I had some trouble. The third week, I worked on being more organized. Start labeling everything, create an Excel sheet to keep track. Guess what? It didn't happen. It went down a different way. But one of the things we did do for possible solutions was a label machine, label everything, then make an Excel sheet, and then dedicate time to organizing everything into that Excel sheet. So there's a true organization system at our home. Apparently, can you talk for a minute?
Hey.
Trying to discuss what you're going to go over tonight.
So Drew's covering right now the stuff he's talking about for his memory coach, which is ending this week on Tuesday. But also on Tuesday, he's having ketamine infusion. We're gonna go down. It's about an hour and a half away from where we live currently, and we're gonna go down and give that a shot because there's been a few articles and studies that have gone on that say that ketamine, not only is it good for depression and anxiety, but it's also been proven through animal studies that it is good for seizures as well. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into major details right now, but I've got a few different articles I was going to pull up, and there's actually a trial going on right now for people who are in a perpetual status epilepticus, which is we talked about on previous episodes, which is where you have seizure episodes that are ongoing and they don't stop. Um, and so that treatment is been talked about recently. Um, I found an article back in 1995 that discusses it more. Um, and right now there's a study going on at Mount Sinai in New York, New York. Um, I'll just give you the summary. Ketamine is a medication that came into clinical practice in the 1960s. Ketamine is used as an anesthetic and to provide pain relief. Recently, ketamine was approved to treat drug-resistant depression using sub-anesthetic doses. In the hospital setting, intravenous anesthetic dosages are used to treat unrelenting seizures known as status epilepticus in comatose patients. Ketamine in sub-anesthetic doses has not been tried as a treatment for medication-resistant seizures in the outpatient setting. This study would like to examine the effectiveness of sub-anesthetic ketamine in outpatients who suffer from drug-resistant epilepsy.
Get out of it.
What?
You're going right into the topic. I said discuss what you're going to talk about.
Well,
not
what,
the.
I don't know. I don't know. What
Well,
else to say.
that's I'm going right into it, my
well,
dear.
that's the background.
Well, let's leave some stuff for the topic. Yeah, wait. I've got an order. Make sure you look at the outline before you start going into things far down the line. So our goal was to get everything labeled, dedicate some time to create a system that would make it easier for me and everybody else to help me when I did need help, like putting tools away or putting things where they needed to be and finding exact places to put things. In week 4, I had to work on staying on task. So, I mean, if these sound like things that you need to work with, please reach out to Hopscotch. These are not that you don't have to be in the same group. They have other reasons for getting home. They have research studies and all kinds of things. This was free to me. This is, in fact, they want to pay me. I just never filled out the. I did great for sure, but throw me off easily. I'm too confusable. Anyway, so it don't matter. So staying on task, it's certainly one of the problems that I have a great deal with. Creating a functional guideline and then beginning them, like creating a list, creating a goals list. So that was the goal. And so the possible solutions were list creation, create a timeline that's practical, standard operating procedures, and prioritizing. Create a plan so that I can scratch off the list, although that can create hyper focus on certain tasks. Create a timeline that's practical. Don't overwhelm myself. because I couldn't create an impractical timeline with a goal sheet and find myself trying to accomplish things that are out of possibility. So I need to just be realistic, and then create a standard operating procedure. No going back and fixing things if you do them right the first time. Um, Takes a long time and can place too much emphasis on a single procedure, but I'd rather prioritize and make sure that what I'm doing is focused and complete. Um, and so all of these have memory strategies in the back. Uh, I'm not going to go into all that. There's a lot that goes along with this stuff, but I just want you to see what it is that I've been working on. Does this sound like you? Because it sounds, every time I listen to other people online, it sounds like so many people have the same feelings. Um, my week 5 thing to work on was escalating my mania and being manic and being temperamental. And the goal was to get and stay calm. Apparently, I'm just joking tonight. Uh, my possible solutions. My first one was called "Be a Coat Rack," and I discussed it a couple weeks ago. The advantages are becoming unfocused. Be a coat rack is essentially the process that I came up with for when I start to get worked up or get too out of focus or get too distracted. Just I go to my new technique, which is coat rack. I stand up straight. What's a coat rack? They're strong, they're firm, and they must be able to hold up a coat. So I put my arms out, I close my eyes, and I think about nothing other than being able to hold everything up. And then I think, what is it? What is it that's bothering me? What's the problem right now? What am I doing wrong, and what can I do to fix the problem? And then I take a deep breath, and as I take a deep breath, I say the positive thing that's going to help. I'm going to write this down before I do it. Or I'm going to write this down. I'm not going to forget to take notes. Just simple. I don't know. I'm just trying to generalize and come up with something, but it truly is a way for me to refocus, basically blank out, refocus, think of a solution, and think of how to accomplish it. And it works out very well for me so far. And then from there, another step for me is to declutter. If I notice that I get much more stressed out when I have messes around me, toilet looks dirty, tub needs scrubbed. I mean, just things bother me. Water, not enough water in the fish tank. Like, it's really weird, this stuff. It's definitely my ADHD helps with that. But I get hyper focused on things that have nothing to do with the task that I'm doing, especially when I'm trying to avoid doing the task that I'm trying to do. And that's a subconscious thing as well as a fully conscious that I'm doing it. Like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm not, because I'm just not feeling it. And so I need to find ways to make sure that I can get myself there and picking up and getting things cleaned up and getting some small goals accomplished definitely helps me build towards getting the other things taken care of. I talk through my mind's ear to myself, and it rationalizes my being. My mind's ear, huh? So I try to observe everything through my mind's eye. I try to discuss things to myself through my mind's ear. That voice that I talk to in myself, not a second personality, not my split personalities. I'm not schizophrenic. I'm saying sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I say, "What the hell is wrong? What's the problem?" Maybe I'm saying, You know, what is it that you need to do to accomplish this? And then it goes back to that being a coder. That's the speaking to myself, the talking to myself, to make sure that I'm thinking clearly and thoroughly. Uh, Breathe in positive and breathe out the negative. It truly relaxes my psyche. Don't breathe too hard; you could hyperventilate. um, Week 6 was once again I was overloading myself, and I had to simplify. I had to remind myself who I am. Remind myself that I can use creativity as therapy. Drawing, playing music, building, building something. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's that pine pollen that's getting me, but I'm like having trouble breathing. Uh, Determine what is the order of importance, and do achievable ones to build confidence. So figure out what's most important and achieve it in a manner that, in an order that's realistic, so that when you complete the goals, you can, thank you, you can feel confident. You can feel good about what you have done. Yeah, today is not a prime memory day. Being unfocused when stressed was this past week's problem. Retaining my focus while becoming emotional was my goal. Once again, I went back to the coat rack and breathing and determining the best way forward. And then hyper focusing on the current task, not allowing myself to get outside of the task. So it was almost like a compilation of a few of these weeks. And it's culminating. All these weeks together are culminating. All these small things are culminating into a way for me to be able to help myself with the things I can, so that I'm not as frustrated by the things I cannot. It's been tough. It truly has been tough. I mean, it's hard to talk right now. I don't know if you can see the side of my tongue, but it hurts. I can't show you my cheek. It's bad. I took a chunk out. I literally took a chunk out. So it looks horrible. Just gotta go grab coattails like me, Stever. I got it from doing the co-hosting on on Dee's show. I go over and do her show every Saturday morning, and just been picking up followers from her. And it's not like I have any money. She has a bunch of people that subscribe, and she helps out the people that subscribe. But I'm broke and don't make any money right now, so I don't really have any money to give her towards a membership. My credit card is maxed as max can be for like 2 months now. I haven't paid it. And I just gonna have to make a minimum payment here in the next couple of days before they hit me with a big interest rate or something silly. But best to say hyper focused on this. We can always talk about that kind of stuff after the fact. Oh.
Yeah, Steve should come on Miss D's show on Saturday sometime. I'm sure.
Come sing with us, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's how that's all I do. I just go around and sing on everybody's show.
I'm sure if you came and sang on her show, she would help you get some stuff.
That's it. You find the genuine people, and then you can get rid of all the ungenuine people.
Miss D's really cool too.
Yeah, she's so nice. She's such a sweetheart. She's been super nice to me. Yeah. Super helpful.
I just hope that we get to meet her someday, because when
she comes to the States, yeah. Yep, that'll be nice. So at this point, it's like there is a final sheet here, but I won't see my coach again. That's going to be my final week here on Tuesday. That's if I make it on Tuesday, because we will be discussing the next part here shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I make it on Tuesday. If not, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna call her tomorrow and just let her know, hey, I may or may not be able to make it.
Maybe just do it Wednesday in case you're out
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. In case I'm just completely busted on Tuesday afternoon. I have a feeling I might be still a bit dissociated, but they say it wears off quickly. So
what I was reading from is it doesn't make you tired.
No.
It
So
does the opposite.
Yeah. So, man, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I wasn't having this problem all day long. Now suddenly we're back in the house and I'm choking. So I think we're ready to move into the next topic. I think is the main thing, because I mean I've spoke about the hopscotch. If you'd like to learn more about hopscotch, please look up Dartmouth Hitchcock, the hopscotch program. It's a fantastic program. It's been very beneficial to me. It's not even like it's hard, and they pay you. Like many research studies, they pay you. Like it's not a lot of money. I think they give you like $15 a session, but $15 an hour for 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's also like self knowledge too, so it's not like you're not gaining anything from it.
$120 to tell them some stuff. They learn some stuff. I learn some stuff, and other people might benefit later on down the road from it. And hopefully these people really do care about what it is they're doing, as well as about to make myself a guinea pig in another field.
Your coach was really nice too. I like to say that she was super
very, very helpful,
patient and kind, and actually seemed like she really did wanted to help you. It wasn't just pretending.
That's about it. It's like they check you out for like the first 15 minutes, and then they give you like the dose, and after about 15 minutes, it should last for about 30.
Well, you want to give them some background?
About 30 minutes, and he said it out loud right there. So he said it in the chat there. Yeah, but that's what it is. It doesn't last a terribly long time by any means. Fill out the form, get money. That's exactly it. Fill out the form, get money. So you fill out a W-9 and yeah. Visit. I love that. They make it quite clear. But on Tuesday, I will be beginning I'll be going for a consultation. I'm going to be going for a consultation down in Myrtle Beach at a clinic that does ketamine treatments, ketamine injections. I did those out of order, but that's fine. Essentially, we started looking into things. Being that I'm refractal, I can't keep my brain in order from pills. They've denied me for surgeries. The one that they want me to go and look into now is a far less candidate than the one that they just tested me for this last year. So it's like I'm not feeling confident in even wasting our time, because we've already moved to like 4 different states at this point. So it's like we're so over it. We're over all this, like trying to chase down doctors that once we get there, they don't really seem all that focused on helping me. They're always focused on helping themselves and being right, even when they're not. But they push a lot of stuff that I'm not okay with. And I've learned that I'm not okay with a lot of it, and I decided to find my own solutions. And that's why we're 20 weeks into the show at this point. Is because I was already finding the information. I figured I'd share it with everybody else. And the thing that we found in the last few weeks was an article for ketamine treatments as a treatment for
major depressive
for refractal epilepsy and status epilepticus, bringing people out of status epilepticus. They were already finding for a while now that ketamine has been a fantastic, very beneficial chemical in clinical atmospheres for helping with depression, anxiety, different problems with pain. Uh, Essentially, I'll give you some information based just from Wikipedia. It's nothing special. I can just read this stuff off to you. If you want to look up ketamine and Wikipedia, you can find yourself there. It's not a hard website to find. But ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic used medically for the induction and maintenance of anesthesia. It is also used as a recreational drug. It's one of the safest anesthetics, as in contrast with opiates, ether, and propofol. It suppresses neither respiration nor heart rate. Ketamine is a novel compound derived from PCP, created in pursuit of a safer anesthetic with similar characteristics. Ketamine is also used for acute pain management. It was first synthesized in 1962 by a gentleman named Calvin Stevens, a professor of chemistry at Wayne State University and a Park Davis consultant. It was known by the developmental code named CL581. Uh, uh, After promising preclinical research in animals, ketamine was tested in human prisoners in 1964. So I used to go back and do that on the on the prisoners in jails and stuff.
Yeah, they're technically not allowed to do that anymore.
They're not supposed to do that anymore, but they do. They go in and get them to volunteer for things still. Right? They're not supposed to do it on human things, but they used to force that on people. They used to just like, here, you're here, you're going to try this.
Well, they had the Tuskegee experiments that were done back in the 60s and 70s on black males, giving them syphilis, and then they had a treatment for syphilis, and they never gave them the antidote, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Pretty messed up. So these investigations demonstrated ketamine's short duration of action and reduced behavioral toxicity, made it a favorable choice over phenycylidine, PCP, as an anesthetic. The researchers wanted to call the state of ketamine anesthesia dreaming, but Park Davis did not approve of the name. Hearing about this problem and about the disconnected appearance of treated people, Mrs. Edward F. Domino, the wife of one of the pharmacologists working on the ketamine, suggested dissociative anesthesia, following FDA approval in 1970. Ketamine anesthesia was first given to American soldiers during the Vietnam War. So, I mean, they've been using it. It's not like this is new. This is 70 years of using this stuff at this point. I mean, this isn't new. The discovery of antidepressive action of ketamine in 2000 has been described as the single most important advance in treatment of depression in more than 50 years. It has sparked interest in MNDA receptor antagonists for depression and has shifted the direction of antidepressant research and development. So essentially, these treatments are proving to be exceptional for antidepressive and anti-anxiety treatments. So with the positive outcomes that they're finding already, just like any other drug, when they find it working for one thing, they're like, well, hey, if it works for something else, maybe we can catch a couple more bucks if we find some other things. Well, guess what? In this one, I'm not unhappy that they did, because they were just finding by chance that it was helping people with epilepsy. Why? Because they don't believe it to be something that works as if it was. I saw it quoted somewhere. If this was a computer, when you take antidepressants, that's a software repair. But if you take ketamine, that's a hardware repair, because it's not changing your chemical compound, it's just shutting stuff down, just shutting you down. So
I don't think it was necessarily by chance, because they were doing studies in rats. It's one of the things that I had pulled up.
So what?
So that was one of the articles that I had pulled up, was that I don't believe it was by chance they were doing studies from 1995 and in rats, making them have seizures,
Yeah,
treating them
yeah,
with ketamine.
yeah. Well, they figured it out before 2000. I'm saying they started allowing it for treatments in 2000.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so essentially from WebMD, they have a page here. It's just free questions. It's not a very long page, so I'm just going to read this. Uh, WebMD.com, mental health news. It's an article called Ketamine and Depression, Frequently Asked Questions, written by a woman named Stephanie Watson, medically reviewed by Michael W. Smith, MD, on July 5th, 2017. So on July 6th, 2017, major depression affects more than 16 million adults each year, nearly a third of whom don't find relief from antidepressants and other traditional treatments. When depression isn't treated, it increases the chance of alcohol and drug dependence, as well as suicide. Anesthetic ketamine could offer hope for people who do not have other depression treatment options. The most recent research on ketamine, as well as a statement from the experts on its use published in April, find the drugs work quickly, makes dramatic improvements in mood, and can work on people who haven't gotten better with other depression treatments. The evidence is so enticing that the FDA has granted 2 ketamine-based drugs breakthrough therapy status and fast-tracked them to market. Yet the studies done so far on ketamine have been small, and its availability is so far limited mainly to ketamine clinics and research studies. Keep in mind, this was a few years ago. Researchers still have a lot to learn about it, how well it treats depression and its long-term side effects. Yet they say ketamine could be very helpful. It is potentially the most exciting development in the lifetime of for the treatment of mood disorders, but there is still a way to go before this is ready for prime time, says Gennard Senokora, MD, PhD, Director of Depression Research Program at the Yale University. So what is ketamine? Pardon me. Ketamine is an anesthetic drug that blocks pain. It was first developed in the 60s when used to operate on soldiers going to Vietnam. It's also been used as an animal tranquilizer. In addition to dulling pain, ketamine makes users feel like they're detached from their body. This out-of-body sensation has made it a popular club or party drug, and it goes by the nicknames of like Special K and Green K and a couple other things. In 2000, researchers started studying ketamine as treatment for depression. Over the years, they've discovered it improves mood much faster than traditional antidepressant drugs, and it works when some of these drugs have failed. What is it used to treat? As an anesthetic and diagnostic procedure, it's also used to treat depression, suicidal thoughts, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mood disorders and nerve-related pain. Where can you get it? There's clinics. You got to go to a clinic. How is it given? Usually ketamine is given through an IV into a vein, which is the quickest route for the medicine to get into the brain. Most people start with about 6 doses over a 1 to 2 weeks and then get booster IVs once every 3 to 5 weeks. You may need to continue treatments for a year or more to see long-term results. How does it work? Researchers don't know exactly how ketamine works to treat depression. This is where they're at a few years ago. But they have some ideas. Unlike antidepressants, which work by shifting the balance of brain chemicals like serotonin, dopamine, ketamine is thought to change the way brain cells communicate with each other. If you think of it in terms of a computer, well, here we go. If you think of it in terms of a computer, what ketamine does is a hardware fix, not like antidepressants, which are a software fix, says Glenn Brooks, MD, an anesthesiologist and medical director of New York Ketamine Infusions. And that's kind of the explanation they gave me at the clinic down in Myrtle Beach. Was that, hey, man, this is going to shut you down. And it's going to give your brain time to shut off the broken neurons and neural paths and create new ones, and just gives you a chance. All right. It blocks a type of receptor in the brain known as NMDA, thought to play a role in depression. Recent studies find that ketamine can have long-lasting effects on depression, even though the drug only stays in the body for a short time. Ketamine also acts on other brain receptors like opioid receptors, which affect the pain and depression. Go down here a little bit. How well does it work? Well, unlike antidepressants, which you can take weeks or longer to take effect, ketamine starts working within a few hours. For people who are suicidal, this rapid effect can be life-saving. Ketamine can also help people who haven't found relief from other depression treatments. And I can verify this. I have a friend who, if he was able to afford the treatment still, he'd still be doing them. He's just in pretty rough shape, but he literally was, I'm surprised he's still with us. So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to know that he was able to at least get some help for a little while from it. Brooks says that, gee, man, oh man. Can you make me like a tea or find me like a lemon or something? I don't know what to do. Every time I go to talk, I get choked up. Brooks says some of the patients he sees have been to several psychiatrists, tried half a dozen to a dozen medicines. Many have attempted suicide. What patients report is a lightening of their mood with ketamine. The dread begins to lift. If there was anxiety before, all of a sudden there's less anxiety. If there what? Let's try to get through the sentence, and I said it funny. If there was anxiety before, all of a sudden there's less anxiety. But all of a sudden, this other thing, I think some doctors would have known to put suddenly. It's not uncommon for people to sit in my office and say, Dr. Brooks, this is the first time I've gotten out of bed in a week. However, Sankora emphasizes that ketamine isn't a quick fix. People are getting the idea that this is a miracle cure. You get one dose and then your depression is going to go away. We have very little evidence of that, he says. The initial effects of the drug on depression can fade quickly within 1 to 3 days, but most people need to get repeat treatments over many months or years to see long-term improvements. Adding cognitive behavioral therapy might help ketamine's antidepressants effects last longer. What are the side effects? You know what? I got a better place to talk about the side effects. How much does it cost? Generally, it can vary based on doctor and location. Generally, IV costs $400 to $800. Insurance often does not cover the cost. The place that I'm going to gave me an offer of the first 6 treatments for like $465 or something like that, and then they're like $300 a piece after that. So I don't know where I'm going to come up with the money for it, but I'll figure it out. We'll come up with something else. Sell a vehicle or something. I don't know. I got stuff I can get rid of, I guess. Why isn't ketamine approved, FDA approved to treat depression? I don't believe that is the case. That's in 2016. Consider before they tried ketamine. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. So, yeah, we'll just move on from this one. But I know there's a lot of good information that kind of just a lot of base information that'll help you recognize what is the basis for what is most important. Man. Some lemon water. All right. It didn't help at all. It's kind of like made everything bubble up or something. Okay. Give me one. All right. There we go.
All right, I was gonna say you're muted, and did you want to do a music break? Do you want to do that real quick?
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. And then I can group up, figure out what we're doing here. Is Steve around, or do you want to play a song? Or something?
He's here. So I figured that way you could take a break and try to clear out your chest.
Yeah, let me regroup real quick. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm having trouble breathing right now. I even used my inhaler like a dorky kid, but it's not working. So hopefully
that's what we're here for. So I'll have him come and play a song.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lucky, and I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Hi, Leo. Hi, buddy.
Oh.
What are you doing? See, you need a drum set like this one where it's up at playing height. You could just hold him right there in the camera, and he can sit there and play. Although yours goes right on the table, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a djembe, like I have a stand, but it's not. I have to like rig it so it will actually hold my djembes up like that.
I lucked out. I bought mine at the pawn shop, and it was already put together and everything. It had like a really nice stand and the tuner and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, that's very helpful.
All right,
Oh,
Steve,
man,
you ready?
yeah,
You want to come do a song?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what he got. What
You're
you
gonna do
got,
it from over there?
From where?
Oh, he's gonna
Is
say
this
right there. I don't.
Did you guys get your other computer situation figured out?
Hot. What do you mean?
I thought there was something going on with one of the computers or something.
Oh yeah, it's like super like it like takes a while to like start up in the morning. It takes like 20 minutes to get it like up and going, and it can do basic browser stuff, but we need to figure something out though. Yeah.
I did the other day when I got this one. I sat there in the settings, and I went through and I deleted everything that I found a website that said, what's the bloatware that comes on this model? And then I went through and I just power deleted everything because I couldn't even get more than one web page to run at the same time at first. I was like, this is ridiculous. And so I deleted like 35 programs. And then a few of them, they won't even let you. They're like absolutely stuck to your computer. So you have to go in as an admin in the F12 settings and go in and actually write them out of the computer. But some of them, they've written extra codes in so that if you do take them out, it screws up the rest of your computer. Like, oh, well, that's convenient. Thank you. Let's just add things onto the computer that I can't get rid of. Fun.
Yeah, and then it just takes up space and everything. Do you want to sit here, Steve?
I could sit right here.
Why? They don't want to look at me while you play guitar.
Yeah, they do.
No.
just turn on my mic over here.
It is on. Your mic is on.
All right, well, I'll pop out for a minute. I'm going to go try and clear my head.
Hey, everybody.
You at least got to come up here.
Daddy worked like a mule, mining Pike County coal. Fucked up his back, he couldn't work anymore. He said, one of these days you get out of these hills. Keep your nose on the grindstone, out of the pill. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pills. See, the ways of this world will just bring you to tears. Keep the Lord in your heart, boy, you have nothing to fear. Live the best you can, don't lie and don't steal. Keep your nose on the grindstone, out of the pills. You keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pills. Well, Daddy, I've been trying, I just can't catch a break. There's too much in this world that I can't seem to shake. But I remember your words, Lord, they bring me to chills. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pills. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pills. Keep in mind that a man's just as good as his word, and it takes twice as long to build the bridges you burn. And there's hurt you the time alone cannot heal. Keep your nose on the grindstone, out of the pills. Keep your nose on the grindstone, out of the pill. Well, Daddy, I've been trying, I just can't catch a break. There's too much in this world that I can't seem to shake. But I remember your words, they bring me to chills. Keep your nose on the grindstone, out of the pill. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pills.
He's gonna fall asleep.
Oh,
Look at him. He's like, I want to lay across my mom.
Tyler Children. Tyler Children. All right. Thank you for listening. This has been the musical portion of your portion
Of the show.
of the show.
Yeah. And now we're going to bring back the actual show. There he is.
Hello. Can you believe it? I'm still here. Made it all the way to the second half of the show. And you know what? You're still not alone. I'm right here, ready to tell you more about this ketamine. Hey, Mouse. Good to see you, bud. So, I think I can breathe now. So I there was one page, place called Mind Bloom. I don't know. They got a really simplistic way. I don't think that was what I was looking for. But let's see here. So at this point, was this mine? I put two sites in here. One of them was the one you put in here, and one of them was the one I put in here. I can't remember which one was which. You want to come look at this real quick? This was the one I put in, right? The neuro. Yeah,
that's not mine.
Okay, so I'll make sure, because you're going to be able to discuss those other pages much better than I will.
I hope so.
Where did it go? They're just on a rampage tonight. The little guys are very, very, very hyper tonight, it seems.
I haven't really done a lot this weekend.
So with this this study, it was. Is it this? Is what I'm looking for? So it's just showing me the abstract. Suddenly I had the entire study pulled up.
You should be able to click on the abstract.
Yeah, that's what I tried. MID, next abstract, brings me to similar articles. Absolutely will not open it again.
Weird. Maybe you had limited use. They would only let you read it like
one time. Yeah, a lot of them do that.
Yeah.
And now it's skipping. No, we're not processing.
Gotta make sure I don't burn the pizza. I'm good for that.
So I think I'm just going to let you jump in real quick. I'll go take care of that pizza there. I think I need to find that other article real quick, because it's not popping where I needed it to be.
Do you have my articles pulled up, or?
Yeah, that's whatever you had pulled up right there.
This is it?
Exactly. It's like, I swear they don't want you to learn the research. They're like, here, hide it.
I honestly, I don't think I read this one.
I mean, that's what it opened up for me when I clicked on the link you just sent me. So I made it, but that wasn't the link that I had set there either. Like,
Can I just read it from my phone?
yeah, that's fine. Whatever you need to do.
What do you want me to talk about first?
Whatever's most important. You're smart. You know how that works. Discuss what.
All right. Well, this is what I was talking.
Essentially, we were discussing what it does for like treatment of epilepsy or of depression and anxiety. But essentially, what I'm going in for is to have it work with my epilepsy to see if it'll help with helping with breaking neural responses in my brain and different things that just aren't working right. See if we can get things to shut down and repair, and that's what they're claiming it does. So essentially, I'm really hoping. Did you find it?
Here's one of the ones. You just want me to just start reading some of the things that I've pulled up, or
Well, whatever you want. You know what it said in the article, so you decide whether you should read it or whether
Okay.
you just cover parts. I'll go take care of this one.
Okay, so here's an article I found. Is it burning?
Yes, of course it is.
It was only in there for like a minute.
No, you had it in there. I'm looking at it. I was in the back room for like 6. You had it in there all this time. Girl, come on, you're gonna catch the house on fire.
Apparently, I'm burning the pizza. I don't know. It's probably in the dishwasher. I'm trying to do like 5 things at once, so.
Well, just talk about that much.
All right, so the article I found was published in September 9th of 2020. It's basically an article that's talking about some research that was produced. It's really not very long, so I'll just read it from the top. The title is called Ketamine Reduces Seizure Burden in Patients with Super Refractory Status Epilepticus. It's basically when they're like comatose and they're like lying in a hospital bed and they can't stop having seizures, in a nutshell. Drew's obviously not that category of person, but like most things, that is, if it has some effect on seizures, then it'll probably lessen the burden of people with regular epilepsy. So that's why he's going in to get it done, was basically to see whether or not it has that type of effect. Ketamine successfully reduced seizure burden among patients with super refractory status epilepticus with no impact on intracranial pressure, cerebral blood flow, or cerebral perfusion pressure, according to findings published in Neurology. Status epilepticus refers to ongoing seizure activity or 2 or more seizures without regaining of consciousness, lasting for more than 30 minutes. Super refractory status epilepticus has been described as status epilepticus that continues or recurs despite administration of third-line anti-epileptic drugs. The condition is associated with high morbidity and mortality rates. To test ketamine infusion efficacy in the treatment of super refractory status epilepticus, also acronym SRSE, we studied retrospectively SRSE patients who were treated with ketamine. The researchers wrote, additionally, we studied the effect of high doses of ketamine on brain physiology as reflected by invasive multimodality monitoring, MMM. This guy's name I cannot pronounce. Iham Alka-Kor.
Just move on.
MD, a doctor and an assistant professor of neurology at the University of Miami.
Reference the name of the article, who wrote it, and where it's based from, like in schools or organizations.
Okay, I'll do that at the end. An assistant professor of neurology at the University of Miami, who was a fellow in the Department of Neurology at Columbia University at the time the research was conducted, and colleagues reviewed a consecutive series of 68 patients who received ketamine for SRSE between 2009 and 2018. They monitored all participants with scalp EEG and 11 patients underwent MMM at the time of ketamine administration. The researchers compared rates of seizure cessation between patients who received ketamine compared with those who did not. The mean age of the cohort was 53 years, plus or minus 18 years, and 46% were women. The average dose of ketamine infusion was 2.2 plus or minus 1.8 milligrams per kilogram per hour, with a median duration of 2 days, range 1 to 4 days. The average dose of midazolam was 1 plus or minus to 0.8 milligrams per kilogram per hour at the time of ketamine initiation. It was started at a median of 0.4 days, range 0.1 to 1 days prior to ketamine initiation. So basically, they got their infusion within a 4-day span, with a dose ranging from 0.1 or 1 to 0.8 milligrams per kilogram per hour. The researchers found that seizure burden decreased by at least 50% within 24 hours of ketamine administration in 55 patients, 81% of those within the study. With complete cessation in 43 patients, 63%. A generalized linear mixed effect model demonstrated that ketamine correlated with stable mean arterial pressure and a reduction in vasopressor requirements over time. Alcacorum, the doctor, and colleagues observed no effect on intracranial pressure, cerebral blood flow, and cerebral perfusion pressure. This study provides class 4 evidence that ketamine decreases seizures in patients with SRSE, the researchers wrote. And this is, they're referencing Neurology from 2017, and Nelson on Nelson SE Continuum 2018. So those are both based off of those research studies. And there's a little like graphic in the middle that says, according to Alcacorum, the doctor and colleagues, ketamine 63%. Ketamine resulted in complete cessation of seizures for 63% of patients with super refractory status epilepticus. I mean, that's like pretty good odds. So why not give it a shot? So I read that and it kind of was like, wow, this might be something pretty cool. I kind of want to learn more about this, you know. Not many times you read that something that is a medicine, especially when it has to do with epilepsy, doesn't even get rid of seizures. So when they're saying that like at least 50% of people or more, 63% had no seizures, like that's pretty cool. Obviously you'd have to read more to figure out like about the types of patients and stuff that were enrolled in the study, but just as like a general overall background knowledge, like that's pretty nice. That's pretty good odds. So I have another article I want to read, and it's about what I was talking about earlier with the studies that they were doing in rats. Trying to figure out which one it was that I had pulled up. No. Bear with me. I'll find it.
Maybe you might be able to open that one from the Word document.
Okay.
Should be able to see which ones I've opened and which ones have not. It'll be bottom ones. That other article you sent me.
I'm not used to your computer. I'm like trying to click the pad, but it's not going down. There we go. I guess that's the one we already had up that I know is not the one that I want to look at. Oh, this is it. I think this is it. I guess I'm just...
Yeah, it just doesn't have the articles in there. It just only has the abstract.
Yeah, but I'll just read the abstract because abstract is basically a summation of the entire research. So we investigated the neuroprotective effect of the non-competitive and I'm going to screw these words up because I'm not good at pronouncing these words.
You want me to read them?
N-methyl D-aspartate, NMDA.
Aspartate antagonist ketamine when administered after onset of lithium pilocarpine induced status epilepticus (SE). Seizures were induced in Wistar rats and lithium chloride. Yeah, I'm trying to read it from way down the line here. Wistar rats with lithium chloride and pilocarpine.
Basically,
intraperitoneally.
They gave them drugs, the lithium and the pilocarpine, to make them have seizures because they're not epileptic rats. They're just regular rats.
Yep. So 15 minutes after the SE onset, either ketamine 100 milligram per kilogram,
milligrams per kilogram, yeah.
Milligrams per kilogram, right? Or normal saline was injected.
Intravenous. IP just means like into like their vein, their body.
And 3H after SE, 3 hours after SE onset, atropine, diazepam and phenobarbital were administered to terminate the seizures. 24 hours later, rats underwent brain perfusion fixation with subsequent brain processing for light microscopic examination. Rats administered saline had neuronal damage of 24 of 25 brain regions examined. Rats administered ketamine had significant neuroprotection in 22 of 24 damaged regions. Ketamine reduced the amplitude of seizure discharge, and in 3 rats, EEG seizure activity ceased in 30 minutes. None of these rats had neuronal damage, and in the other 4 rats, EEG seizure discharges persisted. 90 minutes in, these animals, greater than 90 minutes, in these animals, 21 of 24 damaged regions were protected. In contrast, rats with one high dose,
the pilocarpine,
SE 400 milligrams per kilogram, whatever the hell the IP is. I can't remember how to intraperitoneally. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Without lithium chloride pre-administration, had 14 damaged regions, of which 7 were significantly different from the undamaged regions of the ketamine subgroup, with persistent electrographic seizures. Thus, ketamine is remarkably neuroprotective when administered after onset of SE, whether or not seizure discharges are eliminated. So, would you like to elaborate?
So, I mean, if you go back up to the top, that's just, there's nothing below there. But if you read like that line again,
well, sure, there's all the stuff that makes up this thing are in these articles. These are the cited articles.
Yeah, I understand.
So if you wanted to break down a little bit deeper into this, this is from 21. This is from May of 21. This is from November of 21. So
these are other articles that cite that article, because this research was produced in 1995.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you want more recent studies that use this information, and you go down into these, and
those
they have
would be primary sources, though.
Yeah. Well, those would be PMC articles, free articles. So those are just different things that you can actually look at. Those are the ones that they'll let you take a look at and stuff. And they just move you into other abstracts and articles just like those. So just some of them are free, and some of them they want you to give a little money. Can you believe that? They want money.
Said, I know this. Apropos of nothing, but you two make a really sweet couple. Thanks, Angela. That's sweet. You're cute.
Most of the time.
Jeez.
Love you.
I don't know. That what I gathered from that was that basically, if it's stopping these rats from having seizures, like in a few of them, it was stopping them from having them completely. I'm like, that kind of like leads me to believe that it could maybe lessen the likelihood that you would have seizures if you run ketamine treatments.
I mean, why not try it? I've tried everything else. I've tried 12 drugs at this point. No, it's 13 of them. 2 of them I still have, and the other 11 have all been no-goes. Looks like your hair
sticking up.
Looks like your hair out over your ear. It's the wind is in your hair.
It's the wind beneath my wings.
We can't go there. We can't go there right now.
Just stuck it up again. Stop.
Hey, can I have some? Here, just
My face looks extra shiny.
Look,
in this
I have
camera.
hair now.
You need a mustache?
So essentially, after finding the article on Facebook, I mean, Facebook was the one pushing this stuff at me, which was kind of odd. So I was like, oh, great. Meta wants me to do it. So I don't know how comfortable I feel, but
I don't know. Sometimes they send me stuff. I'm like, ooh, like with the RVs and stuff. I like start clicking on that.
I mean, I click on stuff that I'm happy with all the time. I mean, I think about I have the marketplace on, and if I go in, I like search for something that I need, and then anytime somebody posts one of those, even if it's like halfway across the country, if they're willing to send it, they'll send me the article and stuff. So it's nice. It's convenient, and this one sent to me was about ketamine treatments in Myrtle Beach. And apparently there's multiple clinics. I didn't have to go to the same one, but I mean, they recognize the fact that we had like a good drive. It's a decent drive, hour and 45 minutes or something like that to get down there.
Yeah.
And so to come 6 times, that's 12 hours of driving, almost 11 hours of driving. I mean, it's a lot of driving. So we're thinking about it as like, you know, well, shoot, hopefully we can just go down. Well, they said, you know what, you come down, we'll have a consultation. If it takes 5 minutes for us to decide it's the right choice and we're comfortable doing it and you're comfortable doing it, and we'll do it in 10 minutes after you get there. If you want to sit here and talk to us about it and really take in the information, we'll sit here and talk to you for the next hour and a half if that's what it takes for you to feel comfortable. But we want to make sure that this is the right thing for all of us. Because it is new to the industry. And that's what I want to hear when I hear these doctors is they're not going, oh yeah, we know everything. It's definitely going to work. This is how it works.
They're just seems like they're just as skeptical as we are.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we're telling you it does something and we want to see if it works on the people. And essentially I'm putting myself up as a guinea pig at this point, like saying, hey, I know this could be dangerous, especially because I've had liver issues in the past. And there are problems with cholestatic liver injuries with taking ketamine. That's why they try to keep people away from doing it recreationally. But the thing is the only way you're going to get ketamine is if somebody like either
produces
like makes it. Yeah. Somebody either makes a synthetic version of it, which then who knows what the heck they made. And then the other way is how 98% of it gets out onto the streets is people break into veterinary clinics and they go and steal it from the vets because vets still use it as an anesthetic regularly. So I mean, it's been in use with animals for many years.
That's weird.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing is that they've decided that it works in animals. So why not try it on humans? Because they start, like you said, they started out with like rats and prisoners and only got to do small studies. And there's like 7 main types that they do in the clinical setting. There's a lot of there's a lot of synthetic types that you can get created by other people, just derivatives of like PCP angel dust. And honestly, the ones that they have that are clinical even have some of the ingredients that I'm not okay with. But a lot of them, like in order to get it to pass through into my liver properly and my body to take it in, it needs some of these weird things to work as the agent to make it.
It's a binding agent.
It's a binding agent
to your cells.
So it makes it work.
Like the PEGs. I was reading about that because I was like, why do they put PEG and all these medications?
Polyethylene glycol. Well, because there's so many polyethylene glycols. Like there's not just PEG. That's not what it is. There's PEG and there's derivatives. And the original PEG is just antifreeze. Right. Polyethylene glycol is antifreeze. Same stuff you put in your car to keep your car from overheating. And so it's your go-to. But when they break it down and they put it into other things, they I don't know how many exactly there are, but there are a lot of PEG.
I was reading about them because they put them in women's products, like all the shampoos and stuff that I use.
Like, you were talking about that one skin product you were using. You're like, oh, this one's really good because it doesn't have any of the weird stuff. It has all those bragger things, and then right on the bottom it has like 2 things that go right along with that stuff. It's like, all right, well, you took the rest of the stuff out, but you still have a different one in there. What are you bragging about?
Yeah, I was reading about the different types. But, the ones that they're choosing to use now are the ones that are the non-hormone blocking ones. The ones that they used to use were the ones that block male and female hormones, and like cause hair loss and stuff in women and men too, and also cause cancer if you like use them for long term. So I mean, that's why they don't put talc and baby powder anymore, because they figured out that, long-term use causes cancer. And then women were putting it on their hoo-haws and it was giving them ovarian cancer. So, I mean, there's that. I don't know. I just like to be super aware. I understand that you can't take it out of everything. And that's what I was reading about, is that it's a binding mechanism. They need to keep it in the products. And so I'm like, I understand, but at the same time, what other things could they use in order to make those products safer and not cancer causing? So I don't know. It just seems just about everything causes cancer. So I don't know.
If you make your body's pH too low, you'll get cancers. If your body is properly level in your pH, you typically don't get any types of diseases and stuff. It's been known information for a long time. It's not really the discussed thing. Is that keep your body at a normal pH. Don't eat things that lower your pH, and make sure you're taking in enough water.
I feel like a lot of people are just not self-aware when it comes to stuff like that, because I can tell when I'm like becoming acidic. Like I can taste it in my mouth and stuff. Like I haven't been drinking enough water, or I've drank too much coffee or something that week maybe. And then I'm like, oh wow, I need to like drink something other than coffee, because I feel like I can taste like the acid in my body, like and almost like you can smell it too. Like you can smell like people who are super acidic. Remember we were at that place the other day and I was like, that lady must have gout, because she smelled like gout. Mm-hmm. And like I could smell it on her, and like I don't know, it was just weird. It's weird how I'm like starting to notice stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. We know people that have that kind of stuff, and so if you're eating these weird, like I know so many people that, like my mom, I'm sure she'll see this, and
I don't think she's in the chat.
I know she's not tonight, but I'm like,
hey, vegan.
Maybe she'll see it and see me calling her on it. But I mean, she's like, oh, I just need to go on a diet. I always need to be on a diet. My mom is like 90 pounds and like 5'1" and tiny, and has never needed to be on a diet as long as I've known her. She's got what do they call it? Not
body image issues.
Yeah, she's got self-image issues. She always has since she was a kid, and it's something I see. Obviously, I'm an adult. I'm not stupid, and so she eats all these. We tried to convince her for like 2 years, like, Mom, all those weird gluten-free snacks and healthy snacks and all that, they're all made with oils and emulsifiers and all this stuff.
It's gross.
They're not good for you. They're cancerous. They're toxic chemicals that they put into these foods. And it's like, why is this here? Why is this in my soap? Why is this in my toothpaste? Why are these in my mints? Why is this in? Well, obviously we all know. How do the pharmaceutical companies make money? If people are sick. Well, if we're not getting sick and we're finding solutions to everything, they got to find new ways to make us sick, I guess, is how I view it. I'm probably wrong. That's just my theory, obviously, but that's what it feels like. That's how I feel.
I feel like not everybody's an evil scientist
standing
behind the curtain, but I feel like a lot of companies do that. But I feel like a lot of these companies are just like bigger companies with like all these little smaller entities built up inside of them, and then you kind of they lose their mission, like they lose their value, they lose their core values. They just become part of this broader spectrum of a company, and they monopolize themselves, and then suddenly everything that they stood for goes out the window. Like I don't know. I was reading about Ben and Jerry's ice cream the other day and how they're part of one of those big networks of companies and body dysphoria. Vegan says my mom has body dysphoria as well. She's thin, petite, but still calls herself fat and restricts food. Society has really effed up people's image of their own bodies. Super sad. Yeah, I mean, that's really...
It's exactly what it is.
I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so it's like, I don't know. I grew up looking at the magazines when magazines used to be a thing.
She has all these issues with lack of nutrients and all this, and we're like, eat a steak, please. Like, you just need to eat some real nutrients. Your body's not getting the nutrients it's need. I get it. Some people can live like that, but some people need different diets. We can't all just live off of a vegetable. It doesn't work. I can't. I promise you. I've tried all the different diets, and it doesn't work for me. A vegan. I'm sure you keep up with that diet, but I absolutely can't. I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make it to the end of the week.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it.
I couldn't do it.
My whole family has iron deficiency, so I cook with an iron pan. I eat red meat pretty regularly. I mean,
not as much as I do, but
I mean, I eat it more often than most people.
We eat it like 2 to 3 times a week. We eat fish 2 to 3 times a week, and we eat chicken 2 to 3 times. It just depends on what the week is.
Yesterday I cooked a pastrami. Drew posted a video of it. I don't know if you know this, but corned beef, when you smoke it in a smoker, becomes pastrami. I didn't know that for a long time. I was just eating pastrami. For a long time, I thought it was pork. I was like, I didn't know what pastrami was, but it's corn. It's a brisket turned into corned beef, and then you smoke it, and it turns into pastrami. So I made pastrami yesterday,
and I need it because I need all that salt. Women
need it because they get periods. So, and you lose a lot of iron when you bleed. One of my coworkers, she has a really bad iron deficiency. She had iron infusions while she was pregnant, which are actually very uncomfortable. I guess they make you really ill because they're pumping so much iron into your blood so fast.
Yeah. See, I because of my epilepsy, I'm told I'm not supposed to eat fish more than I'm supposed to eat it twice at most, but 3 is like the max. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do bagels.
That's like a northerner thing, right? Bagels.
I don't know. I just don't eat bread really all that much. Sometimes, like I like a good sourdough toast.
Yeah, I love sourdough bread.
I'll eat a good sourdough toast here and there or something. Or if we like go to a restaurant and they like hand us some like really yummy olive oil filled with like a bunch of herbs and spices and stuff, I'm in, you know. But I eat fish. I eat basically every seafood.
Crab,
clams, yeah, all
lobster,
calamari,
squid.
Yeah, that's all the same. I eat all that stuff, and it keeps.
Callie is attacking the water bottles again.
Then put them in the closet. You want here? I'll take it. Yeah,
Callie has this obsession. She likes to eat the tops of the water bottles, and then she'll pierce a hole into the top of it and start drinking the water out of the bottle. Yeah, and then she'll start drinking it. It's weird, but I feel like she's just doing it to have fun or something at this point because there's always water in the dish. So.
Guess what? I'm gonna come say hi.
Aw. She's the curious little kitty. You say hi? Hi. You say hi to your friends?
Yeah, that's the reason I'm not supposed to eat that much fish and seafood because there's too much mercury and microplastics found in the oceans at this point. That's why we find it best to not eat the larger seafoods. Like if you eat things that are born quick and then
yeah, shrimp doesn't have a high mercury.
Yeah. Another one is like the little mullet fish and little
sardines,
stuff like that because they don't live long enough to get filled with that stuff.
Putting her paws inside of the roll.
So it's very easy for me to get my brain to fall off if I don't continue to eat a good paleo diet, which essentially is just meat, vegetables, fruit. Try not to eat too much fruit, just because then that's just a lot of sugar from that. So I mean, the lack of carbohydrates, 80 to 120 grams of carbohydrates a day. Typically, if I ate too much, if say I ate 180 one day, and next day I might not eat any. I might just eat vegetables and meat that day. But I have to have some carbohydrate to give me some sort of energy. As much as protein gives me energy, it also doesn't, because I eat a lot, so it's like it doesn't. I metabolize really fast. So
well, I feel like once you get into ketosis and you're on the keto diet, you don't feel those effects as much. But when you're first, like, if you're trying to like wean yourself in and out of ketosis, like you'll get headaches, you'll feel nauseous, and curbing that is like eating a little bit of carbs will curb that feeling and kind of keep you on the.
I didn't have that problem.
I don't know. When I was doing keto, it was really hard because I would get nauseous during the day.
Well, keto stinks because it's only 20 grams of carbs per day.
Well, I would just try to like eat
That's
eggs.
Like nothing. That's like don't eat any carbohydrates, basically.
Right. And,
like,
and some things even have, like, even meats sometimes have a little bit of carbs in them.
Well, it depends on what they feed them. But I mean, like vegetables, like broccoli and stuff, you're going to get that many carbs from a serving of broccoli. So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's so near impossible to do that. And then I've just never had enough energy, especially when I was running up and down the stairs working for that real estate company on the side there. So it was, I really hope that between the diet, the lack of, the removal of certain things, different chemicals and stuff, and now hopefully, because I won't take their medicines. I won't take their medicines anymore. They keep doing it. They tell you, oh, after 2 or 3, you're refractal. But here, try this one. It's new. It's the same thing. It's basically a derivative of the other one. It makes no freaking difference. But here, try this one. It'll work. It worked for like 3 of my 85 patients. Maybe it'll work for you.
Well, it was funny because Zach kind of said the same thing when we were talking to him. He was like, yeah, they were just kind of giving me whatever, and I would take it. And he's like, some of them would make my seizures worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when you took the Xcopri, you started to have more seizures.
Immediately.
And I was like, whoa, this seems weird. Like, he's starting to have more seizures on the Xcopri, and we told the doctor up at Duke that you're having more seizures. He kind of like said it, like responded as if we were lying. Like, I can't believe you could have seizures after 1 dose. I was like, yeah, he's having more. Like, I don't think he should be taking this.
Yeah, it's making it worse. One nice thing is the chemicals that come in a lot of the meats we don't have to deal with because we buy food from people that get it from local farms and local butchers and small operations stuff where we don't go and buy it from the grocery store. Like, we buy our meat. Yeah. Like the antibacterial stuff that they spray on the meat. Yeah. We avoid that stuff completely because I'll have seizures immediately. And essentially it's just like, that'll do it. So if I want to get some really good meat, like today we went and bought an entire ribeye rack with the tomahawk still connected and all that stuff. We went and got the entire rack.
$5 a pound.
$5 a pound. Or you can go to the grocery store and get a rack this big for practically nothing.
Yeah, I spent $100 when we got the whole rack of the side of a cow.
Yeah, whole side of a cow.
So, I mean,
and that comes from a local farm that's owned by the people that own the grocery store. Like, it's their partners that do the growing of the cows and the goats and the sheep, and because it's a Middle Eastern grocery store. It's very cool.
You might want to turn around. Callie's like in your fish tank.
Oh yeah.
Callie, get down.
Unbelievable. What a stinker. She is
I'm like,
such
oh
a
shit! I just
stinker.
see her behind you guys. I'm like, oh, they're not. They don't see that she's in there. She's gonna fall in that fish tank or something.
It's crazy. It's a good top. They're good tops. Luckily, my old ones used to fall in, so I had to go buy some new ones so that it would stop happening because of stuff like that. But she'll sit there, and those cichlids will come up and attack her paw, and she'll swat at them, and they'll attack it like, "Get out of our tank! Get out of our tank!"
She is so mischievous. She just wants to get up there and eat the fish food. Is all she really wants. And she'll sit there and
Oh.
lick the top of the tank because she can smell all the fish flakes that have gotten left on top. So she'll sit there and lick it and lick it and lick it. And I'm like girlfriend, like you need to stop. It's not you're not being cool. Like just cut it out. And she'll go up when I leave the container on the ground next to the tank. She'll go up and lick the container.
Yeah. Oh, we had to start hiding the cichlid bag of
Yeah.
cichlid pellets in the cabinet because no matter when, she just jumps up there and knocks them down off the shelf and just starts trying to tear them open and eat the cat pellet or eat the fish pellets. Like, no, those are wrong animal, sweetheart. Get
Yeah.
along, move along.
I've never had a cat try to eat the fish food. That's so weird.
It's definitely been interesting.
She's just curious. She just wants to like be wherever I'm at. If I'm like doing something or if I'm like in like a bag or something, she's like right there next to me. Like, what are you doing? You got something in there? Like, what is that? She's just a curious little kitty. And plus, we haven't let her outside.
Yeah, the boys have gone outside, but she's a little pretty for this neighborhood. People's cats disappear quite a bit in this neighborhood. Somebody likes your cat, they just drive through the neighborhood and steal it. So
yeah, so I'm kind of afraid that somebody will steal her. Somebody tried to steal my tabby cat at one point.
Yeah, so
and she's not even that cute. She's just a regular tabby cat.
She's just a super sweet cat. She's like
really
the loveliest
nice.
cat you'll ever meet. Like I remember when somebody tried to steal Sarah up in Pennsylvania. They're like, "Oh, this cat happens. We got this new cat or whatever." And then somebody was like, "I think that's Drew's cat."
Yeah.
And so they took their post down. My friend sent us the screenshot of her post. Yeah, we got it. We found a new cat. It just keeps coming to our house. Like, yeah, because it lives 2 fucking houses down from you, dummy. Like, it's our cat. So we messaged him like, hey, yo, that's our cat. Oh, it's your cat. Sorry. And brought us our cat back. Like, what are you talking about? You literally tried to take our. They had came up with a new name for it.
They called her George because they didn't know that she was a girl.
They couldn't even figure out it was a girl cat. They called her George. Oh, our new cat, George. Like,
and we went to
give
take
me
her,
my cat back.
Yeah, when we went to take her back, the kids were like, "Bye, George." I'm like, "Give me my cat."
What are you doing, you psychos?
It was really
That is
weird.
so crazy.
Very
I
weird.
saw a video on I think it was on Twitter that somebody had made a TikTok or something about that kind of thing, like where the lady would not give the cat back. Like, and I was like, this is psycho.
No, you didn't
they
take
were
care of your cat, so it's mine now. We literally put after that happened, we put a tag on her, and she walks around now with a tag on, and people still let her in their house and hang out at their house. It says, "Do not feed me, do not pick me up. I have an owner, and it has my phone number on it." And people still try to steal her.
God.
It's weird. She's the
That's
sweetest cat ever, though.
crazy.
That's the problem. She really is like these, and she's 16 years old almost now. So she's not like a little kitty or anything. She's very smart. She understands what's going on. You can talk to her, and she may not understand every word you're saying, but she recognizes what you're talking about, and that's really fun for me.
She got fixed too young.
Before we got her, yeah.
Well, no,
It was right when we got her.
Yeah, we got her when she was a kid, but they fixed her when she was way too young because they wouldn't let her leave until she was fixed, and she never grew after that. So she just stayed like this little petite little
6.5 pound cat. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
Like, well, now she's like 8.5, 9 pounds now. I was shocked, but yeah, like
she's also fat because she's been eating the neighbor's food.
yeah, everybody's been feeding her trash cat food. We feed her really good cat food, and it, we made the decision a while back. Like, all right, it's going to cost a little bit more to make sure that she stays healthy, but she does so much better. Her fur is softer. Her eyes look better. She takes less stinky poo.
We buy good food for our babies. Like I don't expect them to eat crap. Like I don't feed
Yeah,
them.
why would I eat well
meow
and make my
mix
animals
or,
eat like crap?
Yeah, no. I want them to live a long, happy life too. So like they eat good food too. They eat all kinds of it's grain free, and I don't make them be vegetarian like I am, but like they
Yeah.
eat meat food,
Yeah.
but
Thank God.
Their digestion
Have you
doesn't
seen
really
those
work.
cats where people like make their cats vegan cats?
They're like the most unhealthy cats in
Oh
the
my
history.
God,
They're
it's
like hair
scary.
falls out and stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's very odd.
Oh my God, it's so scary.
Very
I
odd.
don't know.
Do that too, okay?
Yeah,
Man.
no.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this ketamine stuff works on Tuesday. At least gives me like an idea that after the first treatment, if I do go through with the treatment on Tuesday, that it gives me some sort of positive outlook. Like if I take it and I go home and things get weird and then I'm not comfortable with it or something, or it doesn't go in a way that I felt, then I'll just stop, be like, well, I guess,
Yeah. There's a
Get out
lot
of
of people that have done it like on the street too. So like, you're in a controlled environment. You know what I mean?
That's the difference.
There's been thought process, that where it's coming from. You know what I mean? Like, so like it's your source. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and get some from over here.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you know what you're getting is
Yep.
clinical. Like it's it's good stuff. So like
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm really looking forward to it too, because I mean, I've taken hallucinogenics plenty of times in my life. We go up to Pennsylvania and go pick them in the woods and pick them out of the cow fields and grow them under our beds. like we've been doing that stuff for years. I've taken those. I've taken other types that I'll just leave out of the conversation for now. But you can basically say. I've tried most all of them at this point.
Well,
and I'm not that was like when I called them, they're like, well, have you ever tried any type? And I was like, bro, I was gonna do microdosing mushrooms, other than I have that subdermal fungal skin disease. So if I take the mushrooms every day, it'll cause my skin disease to break out on my whole body, especially if during allergy season where I have to use my inhaler and stuff, because we have this yellow pine pollen that, I mean, it'll gag you up. Even Laura didn't even have allergies until we moved here, and now she like dies once a year during pine pollen season. It messes you up.
I take my natural DHIS, but it still the allergy still drags me down. That's what I was reading about online with some of the articles I was reading when I was reading about the research that but
you're not getting more.
Yeah, I'm not going to have the morphine mix. That's the difference. I'll be in it for like 35 minutes. And then they said essentially it's 15 minutes. It's essentially 15 minutes. They get you set up and get you in and get it set into you. And they determine your dosage based off of your weight and blood pressure and all this stuff. And then they give you your IV. And then it's about 30 minutes where they let you go through it. And then they use... not only do you come out of it quickly anyway, but they use like a saline solution to kind of flush it back to like a consistent number in your body, so you don't have like an overdraw of certain things, and it just pushes everything out that you're not supposed to have, and then bang, you're back in it. Like hour later, you're ready to go. It's just you're not allowed to drive. They won't let you drive. I'm like, well, I'm epileptic, so I'm not allowed to drive anyway. Yeah, I'm like, haven't driven in like almost a year, other than a couple of times where I got stubborn and like drove over to the other house or to the store real quick.
Allegedly.
Around the corner. Like, I think I can make it 3 blocks.
Yeah, but that's what I was reading about online when I was reading some of these research studies, was that the effects of ketamine are like very minimal. Like the people that were in the healthy participant group of the one study I was reading, like they had like 0 negative side effects. Like what Lips was saying about having like hallucinogenic dreams. I think 1 person out of like 60 people had hallucinogenic dreams, but she was also on morphine, so that might have a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's working extra hard to work against those opioid
and that's one of the things
receptors. That's what it does. It shuts down the opioid receptors. But if you're also using the things that raise your opioid receptor, that block that stuff completely, it's probably going to go super duper heavy on you. You're probably getting extra ketamine. Like,
yeah,
I bet that would be insane.
Yeah, that was one of in the list of the trial. They said you cannot be on any benzos or like.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to take any of my Klonopin or any of that stuff
you can't
leading
take
up.
any of that leading up to the treatment. So. Yeah, it should be cool. I mean, I'm curious to find out. Like, I'm just hoping that when he gets back in the car on the way home, that nothing weird happens.
Suboxone, that's been a weird one. I've had friends
You
that have
should do like
really
an interview.
lives, and
You
I've
should
had
do an
other
interview with Drew after he's done with it. Like, you know, like when you're out in the car or whatever,
True, yeah.
just like your initial thoughts and reactions, like, well, it's really fresh in your mind. And then you can
Yeah.
always play that on your next stream about
Yeah,
how,
I can
you know,
record and just send
like,
that recording
for
over
sure.
to you and have you play it right up from there. Yeah, that's
yeah,
not
I
an
think it would
impossibility.
be great to kind of have like that first,
The
you know,
before and
fresh
after.
reaction of how you feel, and then be
Yeah.
able to see it too, because you might feel different, like as you know, I mean, the days go on, it might feel different that from like right afterwards.
I mean,
But
Tuesday I
that
might
would be
feel way
kind of
different
cool.
than I feel next Sunday when we show up to do this again. You know, it might be a completely
Yeah,
different
I
feeling
mean,
by then. Maybe I feel awesome on
What-
Wednesday, but or on Tuesday, Wednesday, but then feel like complete dog crap by Sunday again or something. Who knows? So
Yeah.
I definitely want to take the time to
Maybe just like start a journal or something.
yeah. Well, I have my
I was
journal.
gonna
I'm
say
gonna
like
use
a
it for
video diary or something, like
Yeah.
or
That would be
like
cool.
or
Yeah, that'd
like
be
just like,
interesting
you know,
for sure.
give yourself like a minute or 2 minutes to just like kind of like check in every day after, and you know, just kind of see your own progress, or maybe you do it on a weekly basis, however, you know what I mean, however it would work for you. But I think
You
it
know
would be
me, I'm
really
always
cool.
updating and jumping on doing something anyway, so I'm sure I can just add a little bit here and there.
And it seemed the doctors just seemed as interested about learning about the effects of it for him as well as he did. I mean, when you were talking to him on the phone, it seemed like a good conversation.
Yeah, he was excited. He's like, "Oh, good." He's like, because the nurse practitioner wasn't sure. She's like, "I'm pretty sure it's only for depression and anxiety." And then when I talked to the guy who, there's 3 doctors that run the practice, and then they have their crew, and then they have like their psychiatrist, and then they have a couple nurse practitioners, and they run the office. And so when I talked to nurse practitioner, she's people coming in to use it for depression and anxiety. She wasn't familiar. I was like, well, we had heard about studies, you know, and we only heard about because Laura just went searching through studies, but we're not allowed to talk about that kind of stuff. We have to do stuff that's public. You know, she's not allowed to talk about things that she's on or different private studies and stuff like that. So we just went digging and
I mean, that's when I pulled up.
Yeah, if you know what you're looking for, you know what I mean? Even if you don't, if you can't use your other source of information, if you know what you're looking for, then it's easy to go and be like, all right, I'm going to take the public route of this and find this information that I know I exist somewhere.
Yeah. It's somewhere. Somebody said it first. If you wrote an article about it, somebody said it first. I'll find it. Don't you worry.
That's like the whole reason I wanted to get into research, because I was like, well, maybe someday I'll be on a study that has to do with neurology, and I'll get to be a part of something that I can give firsthand information to my husband about, you know, something that really sounds groundbreaking. Like, may it be a device or a medication or something like. And you know, just
I'm really hoping that this helps me out a little bit. And between the hopscotch memory learning thing and this, I'm really hoping that this makes some changes for me, because I've tried to make a lot of changes lately, but unfortunately things have kind of just been going downhill instead. I mean, it's been going the complete opposite. And which is crazy, because it's like there's so many things that I've done to try and believe we're going to be the solution. You know, I've put my faith in a lot of things just to be let down. And so that's why it's tough. And it's funny because, you know, I'll read things where other people do the same thing as that they did for me, and it works for them. And then it becomes even more frustrating, because it's like, well, then why did it work for them but not for me? You know, why did this work for them? That's like when I was just saying the lips a few minutes ago, like when my friends were taking Suboxone, I had friends that were able to stop using drugs and wean themselves back off of Suboxone eventually and get their lives in order and all this. And I had other friends that just abused it, and when they would use theirs, they would just go over and find somebody else that had them. They'd buy a half of one for an amount.
I would see the same thing, both ends of that same spectrum when it came to the subs. Absolutely.
That's it. And then there's the people that have used the kratom. Steve got into the kratom, and that's how, and it's so good that you know, there are options out there if you just
kratom is literally in the coffee family.
Yeah, it's fucking been the best thing. One teaspoon.
Coffee family, like, and there's so much bad information out there about it. He takes a teaspoon of it like a day. That's it.
Wow.
And now he doesn't do pain medication. Sounds pretty fantastic to me.
I
Do you
fucking
which one
don't
is it that you use? I know there's 3 colors. Which one do you use?
right now I have the green.
I say, what is it? Green, red,
Green
and
Bang or whatever. Yeah, he has that one right now. He uses,
I know a friend of mine's
different
mom.
ones.
Yeah, they all seem to work just the same on.
They all seem to work just as good on him. That's
Oh,
what he
that's
says.
awesome then, because I know that's not the way it was for some of the people I talked to. My friend Manila, her mother was coming off of pain medication after a very, very intense surgery, and she's not a drug addict or anything. She just couldn't stop taking the meds because when she would stop, she would start to feel pain it was almost like pain that came along just because she wasn't taking the meds.
I was
nothing
on
to do with
pain
the
meds
problem.
for many years.
So
I was on them.
they were ordering it directly from Asia, and they were getting these big, huge bags of it, 3 different colors, and she tried all 3 colors. One of them was great for helping her sleep. One of them was exceptionally great for helping her not want to use the medications, and one of them didn't work for her at all. And she talked to other people. She said, "Oh, well, only this one worked for me." And then you talk to other people, say all of them work for me. And that's what's cool. It's like there's options. And if it doesn't work for you, well, screw it. Move on to something else.
But and the thing is, it's just a plant. It's no chemicals. It's you know what I mean. It's a natural substance. So I think, and it's really relatively not expensive.
The amazing thing is that I don't Jones for opiates. That thought never even crosses my mind. I can joke about fucking getting high and shit and not feel that Jones. Like I used to fucking be like, oh, well, I'm fucking bored. I guess gotta go get some dope or something. You know what I mean? Like had that mentality for years. So now that mentality is completely gone, and it's allowed me the time to actually get into my own head and see what the fuck is actually happening in the world and in my own head, and come to terms with it. And it has not been easy, but the fact that I haven't used in 3 years, that's fucking incredible. That's from a teaspoon of this fucking plant. Like, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. It's amazing. I have friends that have helped people come off of Suboxone with it, that have come off of drugs with it. And people I always thought that I didn't, because I had a prescription. So I thought, I didn't have an addiction issue because no, it was my prescription that I took.
Hey, I took Ritalin my whole childhood. I know exactly. No, I don't have a problem. I haven't prescribed it.
Yeah, exactly. But you can still be addicted to something that is prescribed to you. But there is a whole different stigma that goes around people that were cut off of their medications and that weren't able to to withdraw from it properly, and then they went to using the heroin or getting them from the street, and there's whole dirtiness to that, right? There's a whole suddenly you have a whole new stigma on you, as opposed to, oh no, I got it from my doctor. But honestly, an addiction is an addiction.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is I don't even like being addicted to the pills that I'm supposed to be taking. It's there's so many people that take Klonopin every day, and it burns you out. It burns your brain out. You stop being able to stop being depressed on your own. Now you need that medicine to be able to stop being depressed, and that's scary to me.
I used to take Xanax for years on and off. Yeah. I didn't take it very often though, because it'd make me so zoned out and everything. I would mostly just have it as I would take a small piece of it because it would knock me out. It was
they would give me those bars,
insomnia,
and I would break it into a third. I could take a third of a bar, and then I was wrecked. I couldn't do it.
I would take a 0.5 pill and break that in half. That's how sensitive I was. Yeah.
That's it. That's my
I would just
too.
break
I do
those
the same
in
thing. Break those little tiny ones. I got the small dose, and I break it in half now.
He's not a big guy, and
I'm only 135 pounds.
He called the pharmacy the other day, and he was like, "Hey, can I break these pills in half? Because I take a whole one of these, and I can't function for 2-3 days. I'm sleeping off and on for days on end." And she's like, "Oh yeah, you can split it in half and see how you."
She's like, "You can split it into a quarter if you want.
Yeah,
do you need a pill breaker? You can come over here and get one from us. We supply them." And I was like, "Oh, okay. You don't even have to buy it. They have them at the thing for elderly people."
The only thing she said was that if it might not stop the onset of a seizure, since you're so used to taking that full pill, if you're trying to take it to preemptively stop a seizure, it might not work, but you could try it. And I mean, you
I
took
took that half a dose, and I was able to get the same result that I got from taking a big one. Only 4.5, 5 hours later, I was back to normal me. Where
That's
when I take the whole thing, I was I wasn't normal me till about 24 hours later, and then it was start to come back to me. It's
yeah,
scary.
I would feel like I had like a hangover if I took like Xanax. You know what I mean? Like it felt like you had like a hangover. Like it's like you felt like you ran a marathon and you just got over the flu or something. You know, like it would knock me out, and it would be too much for me, and it would fog my brain, and I would feel disconnected, and you know what I mean? Like it's really like, oh no, I don't like this. So you know.
I want to make a point right now. I see in the
them.
chat right here, there's something that I missed. I see Lips said she's going back for that same surgery that she had that got her into such a predicament in the first place. I want to wish you luck. We got our fingers crossed, our hopes out, our wishes, and
why did you just throw the bag
if somebody prays, go ahead and pray for her. I don't know if it helps or not, but you know, she's going in for another surgery. So make sure, you know, we'll have you in our
take
thoughts.
care of yourself, Lips. I hope you come out of it okay.
She's been very sweet. She came and said very nice things one day when I was playing guitar. So I like Lips. She's a sweetie. She it's funny because she hangs out in some of the crazy rooms too. I see her over in some of those crazy chats, and I'm like, man, I can't get into some of them. Some days they get wild. Those places, I'm like, is this just like Jerry Springer or Maury Povich? This place is wild. I can't believe some of the stuff these people get away with saying. I'm like, man, I say like a little something wrong, and they're like, trouble. You ain't getting seen for a week. These people are like, trouble, terrible, awful, hate. Here's some money.
Oh shit! I'm not in that.
It's wild.
Is this on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
We have the
I'll tell you the channel.
We have the DNA.
I don't want to be a jerk. I do like the people that run the channels. They've all been really nice to me. It's just when I go into the shows, I'm like, I can't do this. This is like feeling like I'm in a tabloid magazine, reading through tabloids or something. This is wild.
I was listening to one night. I was like, is this like a YouTube soap opera? Like,
that's what it
felt like. It was like a YouTube soap opera.
They're wild, but it's fun. They're fun to listen to. I don't get involved in the chats. I just sit back and listen to some of these insane things these people say about each other. I'm like, oh my God, you say that about somebody? And their channels get deleted constantly. It's hilarious to me. They're like, oh, here they are in the new channel.
What? Oh my God.
They all have like 8, 9
I don't know
channels.
if I have time for all of that. But
you got to be into it. They must be getting paid a little bit, making it worth their time. So,
right.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I figure you got a show coming up here in a little bit.
9 o'clock.
Yeah. And Vegan Succubus is coming on the show.
Oh, awesome! Yay!
Yeah, we're doing 2 things tonight. We're going to be covering an action. That's what Vegan's coming on to talk about. We're talking about the SNAP benefits and the Medicare benefits and everything, and the big changes that are happening
the topic we
with
care
that.
about. For sure.
And we have an action that we're asking people to come and help us do, and so we're asking everybody to do that. It's a free thing, like it's a way to make our voices heard, and it's free. So we have that we're outlining tonight, and then we're going to be doing a watch along, which is like Dr. Peter McCullough, the one that talks about the big C19 stuff. So we're watching a documentary on that he's in about that, and
The Time Is Now.
The Time Is Now is what it's called, and it's about like a lot about like what happened with New York during this time period. It's from what I haven't seen, but
wild
preview of it. I'm like, so we're gonna watch along and watch that fresh with everybody. Like I'm gonna be reacting to it like as we watch it. Like,
I'm excited. I like that.
Yeah.
I watched an interview with what's that? Russell Brand, and he had Robert McCall on. Is that what his name is? That's who the document is in this documentary that we're watching. Oh well, he came on and did an interview with him the other day. That was excellent. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, I always give people that have big names a little bit of I got to give them a little I still feel on these big cats, just like you and I were talking about the other day. Like I want to trust you because you're saying really good stuff. But you are pretty famous, so do I trust you're doing this in good faith or not? Is this a clout grab? Is this, do you really care? But I do feel like he is sort of genuine. So I've been watching a few of his episodes on Rumble, and they've been pretty interesting. That Robert McCullough one definitely caught my interest. So if that's who you're referencing tonight, we'll be there.
Yep, that's same doctor, and we also have a clip to show you guys too from something else, but I don't want to spoil it.
It'll be a surprise. The one that you showed last night, Drew wasn't in the room when you and Seb was reacting to it. The one with the guy who.
Oh, the Dilbert creator.
Yeah.
That was. I've seen that video already, but that just blew my mind. Like, really? Dude?
I was blown away. When I saw that, I was like, "What?"
I just like Seb's point. Like, what is it that you've done for the Black community again? Like, can you explain that to me? What is it exactly you do for them?
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna have Steve one of these that up and make it. Make it its own like video from last night too, because that was just crazy. I was like, I wanted to have somebody, help, like somebody else on to help react to that, because I was so floored by it. And then it was like the first time he was hearing it, so he was just like, "What the? Oh my god!" Yeah, he got canceled like basically from I think 77 papers or something like that. Like he got fired from all of them like right away.
Oh my god!
I was hearing about it.
Who knows funny today?
They're talking about it.
I mean, just like saying that alone, I was just blown away. I'm like, this guy should like hide his face for the rest of his life because somebody's gonna kick his ass.
Yeah, careful. Don't say stuff like that. Get me in trouble.
Well, you said the F word a bunch of times.
Yeah, saying the F word's fine, but saying something about that implies violence can be.
Well,
I'm telling you, they'll literally not show the episode to anybody. They will absolutely hide the episodes. I've learned this.
Oh well.
Yeah, last night we took the kids. I took my son's bass guitar, his little short scale bass. And he kept saying, "I can't remember the chords and stuff." So I was like, "Here, let me teach you something." So I took the magic marker and I wrote. I was like, "It's our guitar. We're not gonna sell it. It's not going anywhere. I'll play with it if he doesn't want to. It's a nice it's easy to hold and all that." So we wrote all the letters of all the notes going down the strings on each fret, and then wrote the letters for the strings, which string is each up on the top up here on the tuner section. And he was waking up this morning. I was watching. I was like, "Here, just." I was like, just do little simple things like that. And then I was like, anytime you're not touching a letter, just bend the string. And he's like, "Oh, is that what you're supposed to do?" I'm like, "You can. You can do whatever you want. It's music. Make whatever you want." But it's like, when you're trying to get those weird ones in the middle that don't sound quite right when you hit them, you just bend it and it pulls it a quarter note over and it makes it sound close enough. You just go back to the note ahead of it. And I was like, "Oh, cool." So I was learning stuff and pushing it on them. So 4 months of playing guitar though. So I'm excited. I'm excited that I am not completely a sham at this point. I can play a couple things.
I'm fucking proud of you. I'm proud of you for picking it up and publicly doing it. Right? You're just like, I'm practicing and I'm gonna do a show, and like I just love that, because you're gonna be able to document all of your progress. Like you're gonna be able to look back and like a year
I played a couple of
oh my god,
I played a couple of songs last night worse than the first tries. I went back and watched some of the first try ones compared to last night's stream, and I was like, "Oh, somehow I did worse." I'm like, "Oh shoot!" A couple of them were really good for first tries, and then I was like, I went back and I'm also trying to play. I was when I first started doing songs and stuff, I was only playing up here on these like first few, doing all the bass major chords. But now I know how to go up and down the neck a lot better, and I'm my finger movement is getting better, my dexterity is getting better, my ability to stretch my hands to weird chords. Playing the bass helps with that.
Improving your memory. I would think it's probably helping your memory, because you're learning all kinds of new things and it's repetitive things. And then you're also teaching. So like you're teaching, your kids this too, and you're passing on a skill. It's like amazing, and when you teach somebody something, you remember it better yourself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm proud of you for it. I think it's really awesome that you're doing it. I love that you're teaching it to them, and it's good.
He's being fearlessly
positive.
authentic.
Yeah. Exactly. It is. That is being, you know what I mean? Because people are like, oh, you're not, they can say like, oh, you're not authentic. Well, no, if you are who you are, then you're always being authentic, unless you're pretending to be somebody you're not.
And you moral compass.
I'm a very unique character. It's hard to be anybody besides me.
Everyone else is taken, so I'm just me.
I'll just be me.
I love that.
I like that.
That's cute.
Everybody else
I say we'll let you guys sneak over and get set up for your thing. I appreciate everybody coming out. If you stop in and watch, I don't think we had a big following tonight, but we had some few people stop through, and hopefully we can get some more viewers throughout the week. And
if you didn't watch the episode with Drew interviewing Zach on Thursday, I know it was kind of an impromptu episode.
Yeah, it was.
You should go back and watch it because it was really, really cool.
It was literally 5 minutes. He was like, "Hey, I can do that interview now." I'm like, "Done." I'm like, because he kind of disappeared before the first one and just kind of disappeared, and I was like, "Ah, crap, he left me hanging." I don't think he wants. I think he's either nervous or something. And then something went wrong. And then he was like, I had to take meds. And I was like, yeah, well, I understand that. But man, it's hard to set up all day for an interview and then have somebody not make it. So
how that goes.
So when he gave me I kind of talked to him about it, and when he gave me another shot on Thursday, when he messaged me and said, "Hey, I can do it now," I'm like, I'm not missing this opportunity, because this is fantastic information. I had somebody come in last night, this woman named Angela. She came into my chat last night while I was doing that practice guitar stream, and she said, "Oh yeah, I've had multiple brain surgeries too, and blah blah blah." And she was going through it. And I'm
that the lady that I sent to you?
What's that?
Is she the one that I sent to you? I sent somebody over to you. I don't remember what.
Possibly, she said one of my friends sent her to me, and she came over.
Yeah, that's
and
me.
That's me. Okay, well, cool.
Oh.
Well, then I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, stop over on Sunday and see what it is we're doing, see what it is we do. I mean, this episode will be.
Yeah, I saw her say something like organically somewhere on Twitter about having epilepsy, and so I was just like, I sent her a DM and was like, "Hey, come check out my friend Drew," and gave her the link. And she was, really grateful for that, So sometimes,
and of course, I was sitting there playing horrible guitar last night. It's like, especially when I first started, I was playing like terrible at first, and I was like not hitting the notes right when I was singing, because I was trying to play a lot of them without looking at the music. I was trying really, really hard not to look at the screen or look at the papers, and then I'd get going and I'd be like, all right. Like, all right, you win. But all right, my friends,
well, I will see you guys all really soon.
Okay,
yeah.
Sounds good.
Yes. So what do you know, folks? You are not alone. We'll see you next week.
See you next Sunday.
Good night.